In this video, we'll illustrate how to use some of the resources available through Flippity. So Flippity adds functionality to spreadsheets and uses Google Spreadsheets or Google Sheets for that process. So right here, we're going to use this one, which is the Flippity timeline one right here. And when you click on that, there's going to be an instructions tab and a demo tab. I've basically made my own template right here using some of their codes. So you can go ahead and you can use this one here. So what we're doing right now is we're looking at a database. Again, the vertical columns represent fields, the horizontal rows represent records. And so over here, I've just put the year. I've skipped, in this case, the month and the day, but you could put that in if you have something that's a little bit more detailed as far as a timeline goes. So I've put in a headline. That'll be the thing which will appear on the timeline, and then a description, so obviously further information. In addition, I have put in, specified some colors. That's going to just be the colors of the tabs on the timeline, as well as providing a link to a media, an image of the entity that I'm trying to represent. If you can continue over here, you'll see there's two more categories. The final one being link, if you want to link to a web resource where you can read more about that. So for this purpose right here, let's say I wanted to talk about 2020. And this was basically the year that all courses went online, all right, due to pandemic. So the COVID-19 forced courses to go online, and over here I can talk about resources like Zoom, Google Meet, and other resources popularized. So I'll just call this one over here. I'll just change that into a green tab. And then if I wanted to put in some kind of a link right here, I'd put in a link for something that would be descriptive. In other words, this is just an image, it's a media and so forth. So let's say I went out on the web and I looked for maybe like Zoom and pandemic, okay? So we can see that there's a bunch of images and so forth here. If there's an image here that kind of tells the story, that might be helpful. So I'm looking at this, and I'll just go ahead and just use this one right here. All right. So you're going to copy the image address. This will be the copy of the image address here. And then you can go ahead and you can populate this right here by just pasting in that image address. And again, if you wanted to add some additional information about a particular topic, so like, for example, TCP/IP. So let's say I wanted to find out what TCP/IP, Transfer Control Protocol, Internet Protocol is all about. I could read up on something. So here's an article here on TCP/IP. And so I could grab that, or you might want to try something that's less proprietary and or more universally acceptable. So maybe I might want to try like a Wikipedia article and so forth. So I can copy that URL there and populate this row over here. Now, that the way that the secret sauce in the generation of these resources here through Flippity is this page here. It says get the link there. So it says get the link there. There's going to be your instructions. And you first have to publish your spreadsheet. The way that a spreadsheet is, by default, is going to be an active file that you can edit. And but when you publish it to the web, if a person views it on the web, it's going to appear just like a static web page. Links will work, but they won't be able to edit it. And so it says, don't forget to publish your spreadsheet first. So I'm going to go back over here and say File. And I'll be on the tab here, the timeline, just so you can see that that's the resource we're going to try to publish. And so if I say Publish, that's going to be a sharing function. So I'm going to publish to the web. So now here, because this one's already been published, I'm going to click on the Stop Publishing link. And then I'm going to republish. So now I'm going to republish it. So I'll click on Publish. So I'll publish it. And now at this point, I can go over here and get the link here. So again, the secret sauce, so to speak, is this code right here. If I click on this cell, this code is a hyperlink to the flippity.net website, where the gentleman who's made this resource has provided coding and so forth to generate things like timelines and other types of games and so forth. And so we're not going to worry about exactly how he does that at this point. That's a lot of coding involved with that. But what we will do is we're going to make access to that by clicking on this page right here. And when we click on that link, this link here will take us to the Flippity page right here, which is what we see right here. And I'm sorry, which we'll see in just a moment. So here's the timeline that was generated. And so we can see here, if you wanted to look on a particular topic, like let's say you want to look at ARAPNet, you'll see there's the math of ARAPNet, which was the first time computers talked over long distances to each other. And then you'll see there's a link, there's a pullout here. If I click on this, that'll go to the article on it. And so now I have a full featured timeline. I can click on any of these images, like if I want to know when the first router was developed. We could talk about that in 1987. Here at Cal State Northridge, when did I and Dr. Cunningham do our first website? In the very, very early stages of the web, we introduced our own website here. And so as you click through here, you can make this more of a photographically oriented or pictorially represented timeline. Or again, you can contract those by just clicking on the close buttons and so forth. And so here we have a timeline that gives you a little bit of perspective on at least what I consider to be some relatively significant events in the history of the internet and networking. Obviously, you could put a lot more sites on there. It's really up to you as to what you put on that. So just to recap, you have to use a particular spreadsheet. This is going to be a template that you can use, and you can simply change my data with whatever you wish. The thing you do not want to change is the headers, and you do not want to change this information over here, because this is going to be auto-generated, which takes you directly to, right there, that link. So you click, as you mouse over that, then you click on that link, that'll take you to the flippity.net site. And now you're no longer in a Google spreadsheet, you're in their resource there, but the timeline gives you the option to teach with timelines and give students kind of a chronological perspective of the topic that you're interested in teaching.